for good conversation here. Connect for us the leads of your newsletter yesterday, Trump Light, and today, Dems Devastated.
Yeah, so you have the big picture, which was a wave of skepticism and pessimism. You had people who have really decided that Joe Biden has not delivered what they hoped, and that's linked with like a big worry about the direction of the country. Like in a 50-50 country, Leland, we rarely see a poll like this. 70% of people, 70% of independents, no less, saying the country's headed in the wrong direction. If you're Terry McAuliffe, you look like the establishment, you've held the office before, that's a problem. So that was the wave. Glenn Youngkin surfed it. He's 6'7", a basketball player, but surfed it with this Trump Light strategy. And it was exactly what you said. That was an incredible clip of you interviewing him. You asked him about Trump, and what did he talk about? James Madison.
That was
right?
a great pivot. He just said, I don't know, and moved on to James Madison. You talked about President Biden, though, and Terry McAuliffe wrapped himself in President Biden. President Biden wrapped himself in Terry McAuliffe. And then when questioned today, here is how President Biden talked about his responsibility in the loss in Virginia. Take a listen.
Do you take some responsibility, and do you think that Terry McAuliffe would have won if your agenda had passed before Election Day?
Well, I think we should have passed before Election Day, but I'm not sure that I would be able to have changed the number of very conservative folks who turned out in the red districts who were Trump voters.
President Biden's basically explained this loss. If only Democrats on Capitol Hill, where they control the House and Senate, had done more, McAuliffe would have won. Does the White House really believe that, or are they trying to energize Democrats to do something before the 2022 midterms?
Yeah, well, no, they're going to try and get him to do something this week. So they're going to try to use this moment to prod Democrats to go ahead and pass the infrastructure bill and then eventually the larger bill. Axios' Hans Nichols reporting the White House strategy is to speed up, not slow down, and to try to get them to move quickly. And there's a reason for that, Leland. As you know, if you're a Democrat who was in one of these districts across the country that's suburban, that's a swing district, you're looking at that map and you're worried. A different way to say what you said about every county going intensively for Youngkin is Youngkin, Axios is reporting, outperformed Donald Trump in every single county in Virginia. The flip side of that. And so that means that he got more people and he got them to head his way. And so like a very powerful issue. You and I have covered politics for a long time. Education, that's an issue that you put in Democrats' bucket, right?
But it's never a number one issue. You've covered, you started
big, but when it was, you think of it as a blue issue, right?
Yeah.
And that was a very successful jiu-jitsu by Glenn Youngkin. This is what we talked about the other night when we said that there was a moment that it changed. And the moment was
the debate.
When Terry McAuliffe said that parents shouldn't be involved in schools. Leland, I can tell you when I knew the outcome of last night's election, and that is 5:25 p.m., before the polls even closed, because there was a tweet of NBC's exit poll. And like as you did on your air, you never talk about where things are headed, but you talk about the demographics of who turned out.
Right.
And when I saw that 80+% of people who turned out said that parents should have some or much control over the curriculum, you look at that electorate, that is a Youngkin electorate.
It is a Youngkin electorate. I want to just get one more soundbite in with you. This is Senator Mark Warner reacting to the election. Took a little bit of different tack than Joe Biden. Take a listen.
In terms of concerns about education at the local level, he touched a nerve. And I think those of us on the Democratic side need to sit back and think about how we address that.
All right, Warner taking a little different tack, saying, clearly Youngkin is on to something, we need to address that. Is that a moment of honesty and a break with the party? If so, why?
Pure practicality, right? Like Mark Warner's a pal. Like I covered him back when he ran for senator against John Warner, a Warner versus Warner race before eventually becoming governor. And so he knows the state and he sees the power of this issue. So I know you've been having similar conversations today. Democrats are saying, what do we need to change, because another one of President Obama's former aides said that if you had the Senate and House elections today, Democrats would lose both.
Yeah, and that's what they're truly terrified. Mike Allen of Axios, good friend as always to come out in the cold. Thank you, my friend. Great to see
Thank you for the great coverage.
Yeah, it was awesome. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.